Hello friends, today I am starting the new chapter from the genetics unit, that is the evolution. So in this chapter we will study the evolution about the lives, how life is formed, and the important topic is the human evolution, the origin of the human. So start the basic concepts into the evolution or some historical backgrounds about the evolution. So universe is formed before 20 billion years ago. After that, Earth is formed before 4.5 billion years ago, and the life is originated. It is believed that the life is originated before 4 billion years ago. So this is the history of origination of the universe, Earth, and the life. Okay? These are the theory. Okay? This is not 100%, but these are the theory and it is believed by most of the scientists. So now what are the conditions on the earth at the time of origin of life? So that's why the condition on earth at the time of origin of lives are, first one is the temperature. So the temperature is very high, okay, at the time of origin of life on the earth. Then there are different type of gases are present into the atmosphere. So the gases are methane, ammonia, helium, hydrogen, and water is present, but water is present in the form of vapors. Okay? Because there is a high temperature, and due to this water is present in the form of vapors. And there is no molecular oxygen is present into the atmosphere initially. Okay? Means at the time of origin of life there is no molecular oxygen. So that's why atmosphere is a reducing, that is atmosphere was a reducing type, because there is no molecular oxygen is present. Next, in the core of the earth there is iron and nickel. Means core of the earth is made up of mostly the iron and nickel. Then there is a source of energy, that is UV rays, okay, ultraviolet rays. These ultraviolet rays favors the photochemical reactions, okay, during the time of origin of lives. Next, so this is some history, okay, or the condition on the earth at the time of origin of the life. Now different theories of origin of life, okay. So theories of origin of life. First theory is a special creation theory. Okay? First theory is special creation theory. The special creation theory includes the Bible, the theory of the Bible. So Bible says, in Bible there is a chapter, that is Genesis chapter. Genesis means formation. So in Genesis chapter of Bible, okay, it says that there is a first man, which is Adam, and first woman, that is Eve. So from these Adam and Eve, whole world is formed. Okay, according to the Bible, okay, whole world is formed from the Adam and Eve. So first man, male, is the Adam, and first female is the Eve, according to the Bible theory. Okay, so these are some religious theory. Okay, there are different religions, and in different books of that particular religions, the theory of the life is given. According to Hindu mythology, Brahma is the creator of the life or the universe. So according to the Hindu mythology, the first man is considered as a Manu, and first woman is a Shraddha. So according to the Hindu mythology, Manu and Shraddha, okay, forms the whole remaining world. So all the remaining world is formed from the Manu and Shraddha according to the Hindu mythology. So these are some theory, that is special creation theory. Okay, there are religious theory, Bible and Hindu, according to the Hindu mythology. Then next theory is abiogenesis theory. First one is special creation theory, second one is abiogenesis. This abio means there is a absence of life, means non-living thing. Simply abiogenesis means non-living thing. So according to this theory is given by von Helmont. So according to the von Helmont, the life is originated from the abiogenetic, means non-living things. means living thing is originated from the non-living thing according to the abiogenesis theory, which is given by von Helmont. So, according to this theory of biogenesis, hair of the tail of white horse forms the gordius. That gordius is known as a worm, okay, or the worm is called as a gordius. Means the first living organism is formed from the hair of the tail of the white horse. That organism is called as a gordius, and which is a worm, okay. Then some scientists believe that from the mud of Nile river the organism is originated. The first organism is originated from the mud of Nile river. Some scientists believe this. So this is the theory of abiogenesis. But this theory of abiogenesis is disproved or was disproved by the theory of biogenesis, which is given by Francisco Redi. Okay. So now third theory is the biogenesis. Means this theory tells that every living organism originated from the pre-existing living organisms. Okay. So first scientist is Francisco Redi. Okay. He take a flesh, okay, cooked flesh, and take a 3 different containers and placed that cooked flesh into the 3 different containers. One container, suppose this is the first container, this is the second, and this one is the third container. Okay. In first container, this flesh is covered with the parchment membrane. So means it is separated from the atmosphere. So no any organism can enter into this container. Okay. Same again, second container is covered with a cloth, okay, that is muslin cloth. Again there is no chance of entry of any foreign organism into this flesh. And third container is open, there is no any covering. So here is a possibility of the foreign organism can enter into this flesh. Okay. Now he observed that the 3 containers, and he conclude that so in the first and second there is no any larvae of the housefly. Okay. But the housefly hovering around the first and second containers, okay, and along with the third container, but there is no larvae in the container 1 and container 2. But he observed that into the container 3 he observed the larvae of the housefly. Means from this he concluded that the housefly may get seated onto the flesh, and there they reproduced and forms the larvae of the housefly. So that's why Francisco Redi concluded that the living organisms exist or originated from the previously existing living organisms. So that's why this theory disproved the theory of abiogenesis. Then some another scientists which told about the biogenesis theory. Second one is by the Pasteur. Okay. So this Pasteur theory is also called as a Swan-Neck theory. Okay. Swan-Neck theory. So what did Pasteur? Pasteur take one glass flask, okay, which have a long tube like neck, okay, and he added a solution, that is sugar and yeast, into that flask and bent the neck of that flask, okay, and close this flask, okay. So now it is closed, okay. So he observed that solution. So in that solution there is no any other organism, but in the next setup Pasteur cuts the neck, okay. So now it is open, and then he observed this flask. So he gets some spores, new organisms in that. So he concluded that there is something organisms, okay, which can enter through this neck, and that's why they get deposited and the new organism is formed from the pre-existing organism. So due to structure of this tube, which is a neck like, swan neck like, that is why this theory is called as a swan neck theory. Then the another scientist, okay, or another theory is Panos Paramedic theory or extraterrestrial theory. Now why this is called as extraterrestrial theory? because according to this theory, that is panspermatic theory or extraterrestrial theory, the life came from the space, means the life does not originated on the terrestrial medium. So that is why this is called as the extraterrestrial. Okay, so away from the land. So this theory told that life came from the space. So inside a special structure there is a spores, okay, which came on the earth from the space, and then these spores multiply and evolved and from the whole living organisms. And then last theory into the theories, and which is the most important theory and most accepted theory, that is chemogenetic theory or the modern theory of origin of life. So we have to see this chemogenetic theory or modern theory in detail. Okay, so these are the some introductory part of the evolution chapter, when the universe is originated, life originated, conditions and theories of origin of life. The main theory is chemogenetic theory or modern theory. Next topic is the chemogenetic theory or modern theory of evolution. This is the theory which is widely accepted and most accepted theory. So this theory is divided into the three groups, that is chemogeny, biogeny and cogeny. Okay, we will see one by one. So first one is the chemogeny, means chemogeny part of this theory explains the chemical evolution of the organisms. Okay, chemogeny part of this theory explains the chemical evolution of the organisms. So in chemogeny, the operin and haldane, okay, plays main role. This operin and haldane told that the conditions of the initial environment. So they told that there is a very high temperature into the initial environment, then the energy, the source of energy is the UV rays, ultraviolet rays and the lightning. Okay, and third one is the broth formation. Now what is the broth formation? Due to the UV rays and lightning, there is the formation of a broth. What is the broth? Broth means it is a liquid medium containing the protein and other nutrient molecules. So this total mix up solution is called as a broth formation. That broth formation takes place due to the energy, that is UV rays and lightning process. Then the gases, okay, which are gases are present into the initial environment or atmosphere. There are ammonia, methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, helium and water, but water is present in the form of vapors. Okay, as the temperature decreases, then water cools down, the vapors cool down, okay, and water present into the liquid form, but initially it is present in the form of the vapors. And the atmosphere is the reducing type, because you know that the initially there is no molecular oxygen atoms are present, that is why the atmosphere is a reducing type. And so operin haldane then told that due to the broth formation, this results into the simple molecules, and from these gases results into the formation of the simple molecules. Okay, the simple molecules like sugar is formed, okay, means glucose vagare. Then aldehydes, then purines and pyrimidines, that is nitrogen bases, and fatty acids are formed, that is the simple molecules. Okay, so in this way this is the chemogeny part, that is chemical evolution. Then second part of this theory is the biogeny, means this theory or this part told about the biomolecular evolution. Okay, means evolution of the organisms or living thing at the level of biomolecules. You know that the biomolecules, okay, we have studied the biomolecule chapter. The biomolecules means the nucleic acids, proteins, carbohydrates and the lipids, that is complex molecules. So complex biomolecules are formed from the simple biomolecule. Simple biomolecule means the sugar, fatty acids, purine, pyrimides, and from this purine, pyrimidine there is formation of DNA, RNA. From fatty acids and alcohol there is formation of the lipids. Okay, and from simple molecule, that is glucose, fructose, there is a formation of glycogen, and like this complex biomolecules were formed from the simple biomolecules. So from DNA there is formation of RNA, and then from RNA there is a formation of complex molecule, that is the protein. So that is the biomolecular evolution. ठीक है, means formation of a life from the biomolecules. This part focus on the biomolecular evolution. Then the third part is Chemogeny. This part told about the first life forms formation, ठीक है, means which is the first form of life and its evolution, how it is evolved. So this third part told about the first life form, means which is the first life form, its formation and its evolution. So according to the Chemogeny, the proteins which are formed in the biomolecular evolution and the broth which is formed into the chemogeny, this combined, okay, protein and broth combines and form a solution. That solution is called as an aggregate. Okay, what is aggregate? The solution which is formed by the protein and broth, and this aggregate is also called as a protobionts, okay, which are also called as protobionts, means these are initials or primary to the bionts, means to the life. And the protobionts did not reproduce, means they do not show reproduction property, okay. But these aggregates then converted into the eobionts. These eobionts are actually the first living form, because these eobionts are also called as the coacervates. Coacervates means these are the spherical aggregations of the molecules. Different types of the molecules, complex molecules, aggregates and form the coacervates, which are also called as eobionts, and these eobionts or coacervates have ability to reproduce by the budding method. So this is the first living form which acquires the basic property of the living organism, that is the reproduction, okay. And then from coacervates reproduction is started and different types of organisms are evolved. Now some things about the coacervates, okay. So these coacervates or the eobionts, okay, initially these are chemoheterotrophs, okay, means they are get their food from the chemicals, but these are heterotrophs, okay, means they do not prepare their own food, they get energy from the chemicals. Then the chemophototrophs, means again they use the chemicals and the light to obtain the energy. Then they evolved into the anaerobic chemoautotrophs. Now they become autotrophs, but chemoautotrophs means like the bacteria, like a sulfur bacteria, okay, hydrogen sulfur bacteria. This bacteria gets the hydrogen, okay, from the that is hydrogen sulfur, okay. So that is the chemoautotrophs. They prepare now their own food, okay, but they are anaerobic, means the photosynthesis is unoxygenic. There is no involvement of oxygen in the photosynthesis process. That is why that photosynthesis is unoxygenic. That's why these are called as anaerobic chemoautotrophs. And then finally they evolved into the aerobic organisms, means there is involvement of oxygen, and oxygen in the atoms is present when there is oxygen atoms present into the atmosphere, okay. So first aerobic organism, okay, so which is the first aerobic organism? First aerobic organism is believed that is a cyanobacteria, okay. Cyanobacteria is believed that is the first aerobic organism. This point you have to remember. So this is the chemogenetic theory or modern theory of evolution, which is widely accepted and most accepted in the world. Now for this theory there is an experiment, okay. So that experiment is Urey and Miller's experiment, okay. So now we will see the experiment of the Urey and Miller. So experimental proof of chemogenetic theory was given by the Urey and Miller, okay. This is the theory, okay. These scientists does not perform any experiment, okay. They told a theory and which is widely accepted, and for that theory there is experimental proof which is given by the Urey and Miller scientists. So that is why we have to see the Urey and Miller's experiment. So this is the basic setup of the Urey and Miller's experiment, okay. What they performed, they took a rounded bottom flask, okay. Urey and Miller took a rounded bottom flask and in rounded bottom flask they arranged electrodes as a source of energy, ठीक है, for a lightning process, ठीक है, because lightning is the form of energy, so they used electrodes. So what actually did the Urey and Miller? Urey and Miller trying to maintain the condition which is present, ठीक है, during the initial environment, ठीक है, or during the origin of life. That's why they use the electrode for the lightning process, ठीक है. Then they took the chemicals in that rounded bottom flask, ठीक है, gases, that is hydrogen, methane and ammonia. Mainly they take the hydrogen, methane and ammonia in the proportion of 1:2:2. So the ratio is 1:2:2 is hydrogen, methane and ammonia, ठीक है, hydrogen, methane, ammonia 1:2:2. And these flask have this tube, and around that tube there is a condenser through which the water is circulated, ठीक है. So what happens, these gases passes through this tube, and when we circulate the water, ठीक है, these gases gets cooled down, this solution gets cooled down and it is collected into this container, ठीक है, it is collected into this container. So the sample is taken from this container, here is the key, ठीक है, or there is a hole from which we can take the they can take the sample. So in this, and after they also heated the sample. So what happened, after heating the liquid molecule gets vaporized and again it comes into this flask, and again they charge the electrodes, so there is a lightning and again there is a condensation of that gases and again it is collected into the sample. So this is the basic experiment. So what actually they did, they trying to maintain the initial environment which is present during the origin of life. That's why they maintain the lightning, then the gases, okay, which are present initially into the environment. So this experiment was performed for 7 days by the Urey and Miller. They took a gases, that is hydrogen, methane and ammonia in the proportion of 1:2:2, and the temperature in the flask is 100 degrees Celsius. And they collected the samples, okay, they collected the samples on every day, and they observed that in the sample they observed that they obtain a glycine, glutamic acid, aspartic acid. Now glycine, glutamic acid, aspartic acid, you know that these are the amino acids. So they observed that there are amino acids, but they does not took the amino acids, they simply takes a hydrogen, methane and ammonia, but they obtain a simple molecules, biomolecules, that is the amino acids, then purines and pyrimidines, that is nitrogen bases, adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine, uracil. These nitrogen bases are also found into that sample, and some other aldehyde molecules are also observed into that sample. So this is the actually experimental proof for that chemogenetic theory, because chemogenetic theory told that there is a formation of simple biomolecules, from simple there is formation of complex biomolecule, and then complex biomolecules form the first living form, that is the eobionts or coservates. So these experiments proves that there is a formation of simple molecules. Urey and Miller found the simple biomolecule, that is glycine, purines, pyrimidines into the sample, okay, by maintaining the environment same which is present into the initial condition on the earth. So this experiment proves the theory of chemogenetic theory or modern theory of evolution. So this is the end of the theories of origin of life, okay. We have completed the different theories of origin of life. In the next lecture we will see the evidences of evolution. Thank you.